So to me, Indian film dancing or Bollywood dancing is the best analogy I would use is someone. Um, we live in very sort of multilingual times. You know, people speak in various different languages. So it literally is like a businessman who travels all over the world, and he picks up mannerisms and accents. And so Bollywood dancing is like that. It has gone all over the world. There is samba in it. There is cha 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 in it. There is Bharata Natyam in it. There's kuchipudi in it. There's everything, and they want to express using lots of different languages. They don't want to limit themselves to just one, which is actually a very Indian thing to do, because India is all about being secular and expanding. You know, even if you look at the shape of India, it starts from one point, Kanyakumari, and then it expands. It's there in our blood to expand our soul with humility. But we'll come to that later. But I think one of the first things we were taught as dancers was, you know, from the statue of Nataraj, was, as dancers, it's important to know everything that's going on all around you, not just in the arts, in business, in politics, in everything. So you have a really well-rounded awareness of everything that's going around you. But all that knowledge shouldn't make you, oh, I know everything. It should make you really quite humble, because then you start realizing how much actually you don't know. The more you know, you realize how much you don't know. And Bollywood dance, because of its sheer Indianness, encapsulates that, and that's what I think Bollywood dance brings to the UK. Is this whole it's like a starter almost, you know, because people are interested in Bollywood dancing. I was a kid and I was interested in Bollywood dancing. It wasn't in classical dancing that first interested me. Yeah, it was rhythm, it was my own body, but the first visual image that interested me was you know, Vaijayanti dancing on screen, and I said, what is this? And then I got into it, and then I realized she was doing Bharatanatyam, and then I really got into Bharatanatyam. So it's worked in India, and it's history repeating itself over here again, because people are getting interested in Bollywood dancing, but through Bollywood dancing, they're getting interested in Indian culture. And people are realizing that Bollywood dance isn't everything. You know, what I mean by that is sometimes, for example, when I say I'm an Indian dancer, they say, oh, do you do Bollywood dancing? And at first it used to just irritate me, thinking, no, there are other forms other than Bollywood, you know. But then I thought, well, why am I getting irritated? Because, you know, because of Bollywood dancing, they now know of other Indian classical forms. So it's helping us. It really is helping us. So that's what I think of Bollywood dancing. How do I adapt my classical styles into Bollywood dancing? Well, there are so many ways. Well, first of all, classical dance is codified dancing. So people have sat down and they've made a syllabus. They've made a very stylistic language and it comes from folk dancing. Now, one thing that classical dance teaches you, well, of course, for me, is integrity. Or at least it should teach you that, or you should be able to extract that. Artistic integrity, you know, being humane above everything else, to be really aware of everything that's happening around you, to be really focused, to have a strong sense of rhythm, to be able to project to the cheap seats, to the amphitheater, to be really precise, to be fast, to be slow, and especially Indian classical dance. What makes Indian classical dance is you have an aspect of tandav, which is masculinity or male energy or solar energy, and an aspect of lasya, which is female energy or lunar energy or creative energy. And those two together creates Indian classical dance. So I try and bring that into what I teach. So whether it's boys learning or girls learning, everyone learns everybody's parts, and no one is encouraged to do it more feminine or more masculine. Everyone is just told to learn the piece of dance, and I never say to the guys, oh, make this more masculine, or I never say to the girls, make this more feminine. I always think it's their language, and it's their path. We're teaching them the words or the steps, and it's up to them how they want to say it. And I have absolutely no right to stifle their creativity, and that's kind of one of my sort of main principles about teaching dance. So yeah, that's one of the ways to use classical dance is it brings focus, it brings all those heightened sense of musicality, heightened sense of projection. That's what I of course start with the namaskar. I use a lot of yoga. I use a lot of breathing techniques right from pranayam to yoga positions. I mainly deal with Ashtanga free-flowing yoga, and because it just really warms up the body and it gives you a sense of placement and stance. And from there I go into RMD, plie, turns, jumps, everything. I've made a format. You've got to come to my class to find out what my format is, and then I start with the eyes, whether it's attami or how to look far, how to look near, how to look at a person, and how to convince a person of a certain thing. So it's all of that, and that's all there from the Natya Shastra. That's where I think my Natya Shastra training really helps, because that's what a Bollywood heroine is doing. She's flirting with the camera, or she's actually using what the Natya Shastra had written down millions of years back. She's and that's why the Natya Shastra had coded everything. So it's there in the text. So we start teaching those, without getting too lofty about it. We just start teaching the basic eye positions, and then match that with the hands, and then match that with a particular rhythm, whether it's quite strong. And then the whole thing happens, So I personally sometimes don't even see a huge difference between Indian classical dance and Bollywood dance, because they're both their aims are to engage the audience and to transform the audience and to tell that audience a story, So for me, there's two types of dancing, good dancing and bad dancing. And you can do Indian classical dance really well, or you can do it really badly. And the same goes for Bollywood. You can dance it well, or you can dance it badly. But I would say, in my opinion, what makes a great dancer is someone who really engages the audience, someone who really moves the audience, and yet someone who is very simple and very classic and someone who's not arrogant at all, someone who's very humble. I don't know. I'm 28 years old right now, so it's also my path. I don't know whether I have expressed that fully. I certainly do express it or I hope I do in the dancing or in the class. Maybe not so vocally, but that's something you have to find out when you come and do our classes.